Hey guys, how are you? It is Ken from Capital Advantage Tutoring with my live from Chatham, New Jersey, Thursday night edition, one of the last ones. We'll see what happens. We'll see how this goes. Again, I think Thursdays are kind of light, so I may just give them up and do everything on Tuesdays, maybe go a little longer. If you like what I'm doing, hit like and subscribe, all three of you. I got a little false start here, so I apologize if some people logged on and saw nothing happening. If you like what I'm doing, just go in, drop into the details thing and look at some of the stuff you can buy. You can get books. You can get Series 7 for Dummies. You can get some Amazon stuff. You can buy SIE products. I sound like a salesman. And you also can get STC with a discount. Go on my website. You can buy some of my option stuff. I just finished filming my Straddle one. I'm putting it up on the website and on my membership thing after this. And let's get going. I shaved today too. Okay. So Armana, when a limited partnership assets are sold for capital gain, the gain is taxed when realized, not when distributed. So what they're saying is that when they say that is that yeah, I know, Sandy. I know. I was thinking of you when I did it. So I'm almost done. That's why I'm a minute late, because I was still cutting all the fun stuff and editing it, make sure I'm not cursing too much. And my dogs are having an MMA fight during the filming. And then I'll do spreads tonight after. So Jen, look at that. Boom. Look at those. Everyone, I am telling you, Jen nailed it. I met her last night for an hour. She was destroying it then. She was killing it. I can't believe how happy we all are. Okay. Now, back to this. When a limited partnership assets, wow, I mumbled. When a limited partnership assets are sold for capital gain, the gains are taxed when realized, not when distributed. So what happens is the partnership, series7exam.org, series7exam.org. Okay. Now, it's funny. I didn't think .org had to be a nonprofit, but it doesn't matter. And I finally found something with a Series 7 in it, so it's not so ridiculous. I could have done .net, but .org sounds cool. Again, so the whole point is that you always, the capital gain will be taxed to you when it's realized, not when they pay it out. So what happens is if the limited partnership earns a gain in 2020, but they don't distribute it to 2021, it's still a 2020 tax thing. It's just the way it is because everything's a pass through. But remember, we're always getting taxed on the year that we get the gain. Mutual funds are different. You're going to pay when you get the money. On a mutual fund, when it's distributed, you're going to get it. You're going to pay the taxes when you get the money. Okay. Refunding. I can do refunding. Okay. Refunding is what I won't do if you don't show up for an exam. No, I'm kidding. Bad joke. Now, refunding is basically, it's like refinancing. So say we have a 5% bond. I'm a municipal bond. I issue a muni for 5%. Rates drop to 3%. I actually want to, everyone congratulate Jen. She fucking nailed it. She destroyed that test. We felt good last night, and I knew she was going to get it. Okay. Now, refunding. I issue a 5% bond. The rates drop to 3%. Rates drop to 3%. I want to buy. I don't want to keep paying 5%. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to issue a new bond. I'm going to issue a new bond at a lower rate and use that money to pay off the old bond. I'm refunding you. It's like refinancing a mortgage. You're just paying off the old one, issuing a new one to get the money to pay off the old one. That's all it is. Yeah, I agree. If you guys can find the Kaplan tips, it's probably good for 10 or 15 questions. Seriously, it is. Oh, also, I cut a deal with Achievable that I'm going to start doing more of their finals. I'm going to do another SIE final, a Series 7 final, and it's going to be limited commercials. That you don't have to deal with this shit. It's basically just going to be me cutting a commercial with them for their stuff, and we'll go from there. And I am this close to getting somebody to help me do a weekly, a non-commercial weekly wrap-up on finance. It's not Sarge, because he's not interested in growing his thing, and I'm afraid he won't be committed. I have another guy who's interested in growing his stuff. This guy, New York Stock Exchange, Einstein. I worked with him for 20 years. Such a smart guy, good, and he wants to promote his business a little bit, so it's going to really work well. And he does a lot. He trains people to trade, which is awesome, which means he's on his game. Okay. Yeah, I agree. The Kaplan stuff is solid. Somebody else today I just talked to said they only got one margin question. Oh, the girl Stephanie, who's not on here, but she's one of my students. She said she doesn't feel like she got any margin questions, which is funny. I think that's not so true. I think what happens is it just feels like you don't have any. It feels like you didn't get any because they're so easy. Scott, how are you? I haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? I've been gone. You've been not on. How's the studying going? Yeah, I am telling you that Kaplan study tip thing is great. Again, Kaplan's not my favorite, but their shit, it's definitely some serious good shit that they really helps you on the exam. I mean, and if you can get a couple questions, okay. Awesome. The margin, yeah, the long and short combined. So how do I tell everyone to do it? Jen, I appreciate it so much. If you have a margin account, we know the Mr. Desby, we know the Russian children must eat snow to get the SMA. But if they ask you SMA on a combined margin account, I tell everyone, do the long, do the short separately, and then add them together. And that's what it is. Okay. Got it. In a week, how do you feel? How do you feel, Scott? Armana, under ERISA, business decisions like choosing the type of plan are made by fiduciaries, false settlers. Right. So the type of plan, okay? So think of this way. When I think of settlers, I think it's like the company, right? So fiduciaries are the ones who are basically responsible for like maybe investing or managing the money. But the type of plan, meaning whether it's a mutual fund or it's a 401k or it's a 403b, that's going to be made by the company, what they call for setting up the 401k and stuff like that. They're choosing what kind of retirement plan they're going to do. That's kind of where it is. Meds. Can I do PowerPoint for my lectures? Yeah, that would take some work, so it's hard. So what I do now is I'm using Zoom to do this. I use Zoom and I use their whiteboard and I try to draw on that. That's probably as best as I'm going to do. I'm old school. If I have a whiteboard in my office, I would normally use that. I'm not a big fan of PowerPoints, but I do try to do stuff on Zoom. Anything with math, I'm actually like a lot of the stuff that I did that's mathy that I've done verbally and I didn't have a whiteboard. I'm doing the Zoom. Okay. Yeah, I do it all the time. I mean, that's basically my business. So I'll give it Julie, I'll explain. Julio. See, I see the Kano and I think, I'll explain in a second once I get the wash cell done. I'll explain why I do this. Okay. So I can do the PowerPoint, but I found out I'm going to start doing the math stuff on Zoom because I like doing it because I can draw on it. But the other stuff, I'm trying to draw a little bit on the screens, but it's kind of tough, and I'm really fucking lazy. That's the one thing. I'm so lazy, and doing PowerPoints. Granted, my daughter is now going to take over my website because she's in Panama and she's volunteering down there for a year, so she may have a little free time. So I'm going to see if I can pay her to do that. Okay, Jessica, what's a wash sale? So let's talk about a wash trade first, just so we know the difference. So a wash trade is when hey, Matt, how are you? How are you, Matt? Hope you were hooked up with the person I tried to hook you up with. Hope she can help you. I mean, she said she was hiring. I got somebody else said they were looking for hire people too. I don't remember what. Oh, if you find Colleen, I think they were doing it too. It's Edward Jones. Okay, I think it's Edward Jones. Now, wash trade is when you have I know you asked for a wash sale, but I like you to see the difference. So a wash trade is when one person buys and sells between their different accounts without actually changing their ownership. So if you have an account at JP Morgan, and then you have an account, oh, awesome, Matt. And then you have an account at Schwab. Buying and selling it between the two accounts to make it look like there's more activity when there actually isn't. It's just you doing it. That would be a wash trade. That's not a wash sale. That's a wash trade. A wash sale, go back in history a little bit, you can understand that if you have a loss on on a trade, say you lose $5,000 or $10,000 or whatever it is, you can use that loss to offset a gain. If it's capital gains, it's dollar for dollar. If it's against ordinary income, you can only use $3,000 a year and then carry forward the rest. I think you guys might know that if you watch my tax video. A wash sale is when you sell stock for a loss and then buy it back within 30 days. So if you sell, say you buy stock at 50, it's trading at 40. You sell it for a $10 loss on December 31st to get your gain for 2020, but then you buy it back like 3 weeks later. The IRS treats that as one trade, and they don't and they will not, they will disallow it. So a wash sale is when you sell stock for a loss and rebuy the security back within 30 days and they disallow the loss. You still lost the money and you can take it later. You just can't take it against your gains right now. That's all a wash sale is. Okay. Now, Julie, God, I want to say Julie, what I do this, I've been doing this for, God, no, 2 years now, right? So these lives and then do the videos because I'm trying to build my business a little bit, but most of this stuff is because I teach like 7 to 8 students a day. I charge a bit. I charge $150 an hour. If you can't afford that, I have new people that are coming in that maybe charge a little less, but I'm worth it. I make a lot of money doing that. So I decided during COVID, even then, I started doing the lives before COVID. But once COVID hit, I started upping it to 2 times a week because I felt bad. There's a lot of people looking for jobs and didn't have money. So I'm trying to do this to help people out a little bit, okay? So I do that. I did not do the AMC. I saw a jump, and I am not touching those fucking things. I am not touching the AMC stuff. But again, so yes, I do private tutoring. If you want to look me up and see what I do, go to series7exam.org, series7exam.org, and that's all my stuff. You can book and all that stuff. And if you just want to have a conversation to see where you're going, go on there, shoot me an email, or I think my phone number's on there somewhere. Shoot me a text. We'll find time to talk just to see where you're going and make sure you're on the right track. Okay. It's kind of what we do. I'm not doing these lives to get more students. I'm happy to get them. I'm not going to turn them down, but this is not why I do this. I'm trying to give back to people. I just reached out to a place that's going to let me volunteer to help. It helps. It's a place that's going to help minority students get their foot into, I have to work out a deal, but we just started talking to help minority students finally get into the business, make it a little easier, give them a path to getting in here. Because really, you know that on Wall Street, most people look like me, right? So the problem is older white men. So we got to try to, I'm into keeping my own power. I don't want to lose that shit, but we do need to have some diversity. We can't just have everyone look like me because it's really fucking boring. So we need people that look different, women, black, brown, yellow, whatever you want, whatever color we are, right? So we want to get more diversity because that gives us better, more talent. Okay. Didn't want to go on that. I talked too much. Okay. Sure. So just go on my website and book me up and then reach out to me. We'll talk. Okay. Now, Scott Aaron Fisher. Okay. I just did the freaking video on that. That's awesome. Hold on 1 second. So Scott, question about oral authorization for an IA. Okay. No, I agree. AD Banker does suck. I agree with that. So let me get the Scott's thing. So now, because I have ADD and I can't stand. I read the shit as it comes through. So if you're an investment advisor, you're allowed to give someone oral authorization. This is the thing. The wording is a little fuzzy, right? So it says you can give oral authorization, but it has to be followed up by written after that. I think the writing in the law almost makes it seem like they can give you oral again, but I'm going to go with this on the thought of the law. They can't keep reauthorizing wording, but they don't specifically say it against it because it's a little fuzzy. But the letter of the law is this: that the way the intent is that if you're going with an IA, you can give them verbal authorization. Only IAs, not broker dealers, not agents. IAs and IARs, you can give them verbal authorization for up to 10 days, and then you have to follow up with it in writing. Broker dealers and agents have to have the authorization, the power of attorney in hand, signed in their hand before they give any, if they do any discretion. So does that help a little, Scott? I hope that does. Okay. Okay, Matt. So on straddles, I'm going to do the video, but I'm going to make it very quick. I don't do a lot of options on here, but I'll jump on. So straddles are buy a call, buy a put, right? So there's 2. So remember, only straddles have 2 break-evens. Remember that. Only straddles have 2 break-evens. Only straddles have 2 break-evens. Nothing else does. Combos are the same thing. So what you do is I always stack the call on the top and the put on the bottom. How do you know it's a straddle? Buy a call, buy a put, or sell a call, sell a put. It's buying both or selling both, okay? Now, Scott, I go with yes. To your answer, this omitting and summary are pretty much the same. Final and statutory, I would go with the same on this test. Yeah, there's little nuances that are different, real world, but not our problem. So now back to this. So if I want to find break even on a straddle, I'm going to add the 2 premiums because it's 2 buys. Remember, I've said this before. If they're the same, you add. If it's 2 buyers or 2 sells, you add. You're adding something, and if it's a buy and a sell, you subtract something. So 2 buys or 2 sells, and a straddle is 2 buys or 2 sells. So you stack the call on top of the put, and I'm doing the videos coming out. Granted, you have to be a member or buy it, but you know, I'm helping out here. So what you're going to do is you're going to total the premiums, and then you're going to add the total premiums to the call. That's the upper break even. And then you're going to subtract the total premiums from the put strike. So you can have 2. So let's say you buy a 50 straddle for 6. So it's going to be 56 and 44 my break evens. You're adding and then subtracting. Okay. Now, always remember, if it's a long straddle, max gain is always unlimited, and the max loss is premium. So if it's a short straddle, it's the opposite. So whenever you have a straddle, there's only 2 choices. It's either unlimited max gain or max loss, or premium. So if it's a long straddle, unlimited max gain, premium loss. And a short straddle, max gain is premium, unlimited loss. Hope that helps, Matt. Okay. And again, I'll have that video out, and then the spread video out very, very soon. Okay. Make sure so. That is so funny. Okay. Types of registration. So now, Armana, types of registration when applicable. There's 3 types of registrations of securities. That's what we're talking about. There's qualification, coordination, and notification. Okay. No, Scott, I don't think so. Just know that filing head of household means you're a single parent. Usually it's like your husband's out there, it's a single mom or something like that. Okay. Back to this. So qualification, Matthew, I hope that helped a little bit. Qualification is if your security is only going to be sold in 1 state. 1 state, okay? Coordination is if you're in multiple states. Think about it. If you're registering in 1 state, the SEC doesn't really have jurisdiction, right? I mean, that's why we don't have a mask mandate, or didn't, because the federal law can't actually do it. They can only tell the federal stuff to wear masks. They can't tell the states to do it. So if you're registered in 1 state only, qualification. If you're going to register in more than 1 state, you have the SEC involved, so you have to register with the SEC and the state. The SEC and the state at the same time, okay? So you have to register with the SEC and the state at the same time. You okay with that? I like it. Now, notification is for basically mutual funds and 506C. They're exempt from registering, but they have to send notification into the state that they are doing business in the state. If you're on an exchange, you don't need to notify. You're full on exempt. So if you have the list of exempt securities, none of them need to notify really, other than mutual funds and what was I going to say? Okay, so exempt securities don't have to register unless it's a mutual fund and a Reg D 506C. Okay. No, so Matthew, the membership's on YouTube, then you get the access to the videos. If you go on my website, there should be 2 videos on there, one for hedging and one for Colleen, how are you? One for, I just mentioned you before. One for hedging and then one for regular. One's $10, one's $20 or something like that, okay? The video I do on YouTube, the only one that you have access to for free is 100% for SIE. The other one is just the basics, and then the hedging one is the next one. And the straddle one is coming out in about, well, when I'm here, about 20 minutes after I'm done. Okay. Scott, yeah, I wouldn't worry about difference between filing head of household and married filing separately. Just know that married filing joint is for married couples, and that should give you the biggest deductions. Okay. There you go. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So now, oh, look at that. I found a tee from when I went to Provo. That's funny. I guess it's clean because these shorts have been cleaned. It's what I wore when I went golfing. Okay. What you doing for the 63? That's a big question. Okay. You need to read the fucking book, Jen. So read the book. Hopefully, if it's STC, read the book straight through. Again, Julie, I appreciate your kind words about I'm better than AD Banker. That's a low bar. I do think I am better than that, but that's a very low bar because AD Banker sucks. I think you should buy either Achievable, the link, or STC. They're good. Okay. I have one student just texted me. He's been doing STC, and he finally bought the Kaplan questions, and he goes, they're fucking hard. That's exactly what he said. Okay. So now, what you know for the 63? Go through my videos on the 63 thing. You need to read the book, okay? You need to read the book straight through. You need to know the broker-dealer, the IA, the agent, the IAR. You need to know what the admin does. You need to know ethics versus fraudulent, unethical versus fraudulent. You need to know how securities register or not. You need to customer count, stuff like that. Okay. Richard. That's awesome. Richard, I am so happy for you. That's awesome. That's the 7. The 7 is a big freaking deal. I'm telling you, Jen nailed it. You nailed it. I got a couple of students today that nailed it. It is awesome. The 7 is, the SIE is hard. The SIE is hard on its own because you're new to the industry usually. But the 7 is the next step up. And that's what Jessica did. She nailed the SIE, then the 7, and she's banging this shit out hard. So, so I am so happy for you, Richard. That is awesome, awesome, awesome. I love when people come on and they say they passed. Okay. Look at that. There, Jen did it, Jessica did it, everyone's passed, and I love it. This is a good week. Okay. Hope I helped a little bit. And what's next? You have the 63, Richard. 63 or 66 next. 63, you can do it in like a week or two. 66, you probably need a month. Okay. Oh, Julie, that's awesome. I love hearing that. I'll get ready for the park. My son just came home from like a 6-hour workout. You think you'd look like The Rock by now. Okay. That's funny. That was the longest workout ever. 2 of them? Okay. Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, Richard, if you do here's the thing about this. If you do the 66, then you're covered. If you do the 63 and you want to start collecting fees, they'll make you take the 65. But there's a guy, Mark, on here who did that. He failed the 66. And again, Julie, I love that. Okay. So congratulations. He failed the 66 a couple of times, and then what he did, he banged out the 63 and the 65, nailed them on the first time, and he did it all within, I think, that 30-day wait he would have had to do. Okay. Which is true of family limited partnerships? Okay. That's a great question. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I do think B might be the answer. Scott, let me know what the answer is. I think B is the answer. That's a tough question. Okay. That's probably not what they're going to ask you. They're not going to ask you whether you have to do it or not. But they're not going to go that heavy into family limited partnerships. Maybe a question or two, but nothing heavy. So Scott, let me know. I think it's B. Because unless it's D that you can only put real personal property in there. Because I don't think it's either B or D. So that's a good point. That tangible property is stuff you can touch. So I think that might be it. See, I'm waffling. Okay. Oh, B. Okay, that's fair. So I guess you can put securities and stuff in there, property. Okay. Okay. Now, Matt, before I do that, what you're going to do, or what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you the link to my video that answers all that shit. So that's what I'm going to do right now, Matt. And then you're going to watch it. Unless you're taking the test tomorrow, you should be okay. They've changed I'm trying a beta thing because I'm a premium customer. It sounds better than it is. Okay, where are we? Videos, Series 7. Guys, did anyone like my TikToks from Turks and Caicos? I loved them. I thought they were fun to do. I even did one of the options under where I put myself underwater. Showed my bald ass and okay, hold on. Playlists. You guys talk among yourselves as I do this. Series 7, maybe it's in this one. Let's see. Oh, I think I just saw it. Oh, here we go. So I am now. Boom. So Matt. Okay. So there you go. That's the link. That's the link to the total takedown one. Okay. That'll help. That should help you. Okay. Oh, you did see that? Yeah, it's funny. It is what it is. I'm trying to make some things funny. Okay. Actually, I should probably do that. So think of it. Where did I put my stupid? Okay, here we go. Okay. So think of a family limit. Okay, perfect. I love it. Okay. Kind of read them again. They're not huge. They're not huge in the retirement. So Scott, before I answer your family limited partnership thing, I wish I could have stayed in Turks and done more of those videos. It just, I didn't want to be a stupid idiot and have somebody take a video of this 50-something-year-old guy in the beach taking videos of himself. I would have been on that. What do they call it? Influencers in the Wild by Tank Sinatra. So yeah, but Jen, you nailed it. You met me once and then you nailed the test. It was awesome. You broke. I hope I helped with the options. That's the big thing. So Scott, of all the things, worry about what a trustee can do and not the different types of estates and trusts. Don't worry about that. Worry about a trustee can do and know the retirement accounts. That's going to be important. A family limited partnership is this. So say I run my business. So say my tutoring business blows up bigger than it is, and I want to have my family help run it. I can set up a family limited partnership, and then everyone gets shares of the partnership, and then they help run it. That's what it is. Okay. Granted, the limited partner can't, but the family limited partnership, so everyone's going to buy shares and own a portion of the fund. Okay. And basically, I'm still going to run it, but they could all own a little bit of it, and then they get part of the profits based on how well the company does and what their percentages are. That's all it is. Good. Yeah. Matthew, I think it'll help you. And you got 3 weeks. It's awesome. Okay. I actually get more people on here than I thought. Usually Thursday is pretty, last Thursday was crap because I wasn't around and I didn't give any warning. Okay. Okay, I can do that. Okay. Margaret Stewart, you're asking me questions. You should be on here. Okay. Okay. I'll answer, Margaret. I don't know if you're on here or not, but you asked a question on here. So hopefully I can tell you. Okay. So first of all, let me hit Armadas. Okay. Futures and forwards. So think about it. Futures and forwards kind of do the same thing. They're betting on a price. So you're locking. It's like an option where you're pricing in. Okay. Okay. Got it. I know. So you can see it. Good. So I'll answer it in a second. That's pretty funny. Good thing I looked. It's like dual. I'm trying to figure out a way to do a live on this on Facebook and LinkedIn at the same time. I think that'd be kind of fun. Okay. So now, okay, Jen. Yeah, and you deserve the big win. So go relax. Tomorrow morning, start reading it, and you're going to be fine. You deserve to take a night off. So get off here and go to sleep. Okay. Now, futures and forwards. So if I'm a farmer and I'm looking at my wheat and I have all this wheat and I look in the market and I could sell my wheat for 50 cents a bushel. Okay. Works. So I go, wow, I love it. But what I'm worried about in September when I actually harvest the wheat, it's going to be less. So I will sign a contract, okay, with someone else. So I'll say, I'm going to have a contract that I get to sell my wheat for 50 cents a bushel. I'm obligated to sell it. The buyer will buy it because he thinks the wheat's going to go up in price. I'm going to sell it because I'm worried it's going to go down. So I'm a hedger. They're speculating. So a future is a contract between two people or whatever, where one is obligated to sell and one is obligated to buy. Forwards and futures, they all meet that situation. But futures are on an exchange. They're standardized. Like the amount of money you pay is not standardized, but how many bushels it is, when they expire. They're like options in a way, but both sides are obligated. Okay. Tally, you just missed it. I gave some tips on that. I'll try to do it again, but it's really just read the book and do questions. So futures and forwards. Futures are on an exchange. They're liquid. They're standardized to the expiration month, the expiration time, and how many contracts, how many bushels are the size of each contract, right? So it's not like you're not selling one apple. It's like bushels of wheat, bushels of apple, train cars, hogs, stuff like that. The problem is, the joke is that if you have a future and you forget to undo it at the end, you might actually, if you have a contract to buy a train load of hogs, okay, you might, if you don't if you don't offset it or get rid of it, or if your expiration, technically, you're going to own a train, you're going to have a bunch of hogs sitting on your front yard. They don't really go to your front yard, they go to a warehouse, but you might end up owning them. So again, futures and forwards are commodities: oil, gas, gold, frozen concentrated orange juice, if you've seen the movie Trading Places. All these commodities, and that's, steel, wool, wood, oil, stuff like that. And you're betting on the prices, but you're going, that's okay, Tyler, we'll handle it. So a future is you sell a future, you're locking in a sale price. If you buy a future, you're locking in a buy price. Now, the futures are liquid. So it means if you want out of it after a week, you can just sell it or buy it back and get rid of it. It's called offsetting. Forwards are contracts directly with two people. So they're adjustable, but you can't get out of them. Like, oh, Jen, I'm so happy. Oh, she's gone. She left the TikTok. So now, if I do a forward, if I do a forward with you and then I want out of it, I have to get permission from you. It's like a contract. It's still the same thing. I have a contract to buy. You have a contract to sell. The big thing is they're not securities. But options on futures are, right? Because there's 5 words that mean option. If you see the word option, if you see the word interest in, if you see the word receipt, if you receive the word certificate or variable, all those 5 things automatically mean it's a security, which means it's covered by the Uniform Securities Act and the SEC. Futures and forwards are not securities. Okay. Now, real tip on the 63, you got to know, and look, it's the night before. So make sure you read the crunch time facts if you have STC, whoever you have. Make sure you know what the broker-dealer is, the IA, IAR, and know what the, since it's the night before, make sure you know what the admin can do and the ethical, unethical stuff. But that's fine. Look, you can get paid, you can get through 80 banker with the 63. You can. If you're taking the 7, I'd be like, you got to find a new provider. You can even probably get through the 6 on it, but just stay on it. Know the broker-dealer, the agent, the IAR, when they can register, when the securities, know the difference between qualification, coordination, and filing. Watch my 63 videos and get sleep. I can't say that enough. Get some sleep. Okay. Now, Margaret asked a question. I wish I had a board for this one. Okay. And I still want to try to find it out. I just get so busy. I don't do it. Where I can do the third-party thing where I can do a screen. My daughter told me I have to get a new computer because in this one, I keep going in here. Oh, there you go. You're going to nail it tomorrow. So this computer is a Dell. So I got pulled over. I got nailed flying to Turks and Caicos where I had the explosive experts checking out the thing. I was actually surrounded by TSA agents. They slowly came in. They were looking at my laptop, and they thought there was a mask in there, and they're quietly going, oh, so why are you here? And as I'm talking, I see more and more TSA agents showing up and kind of surrounding me. They asked me why I was here. They asked who I was with. They went through my backpack and everything. I felt very violated. But I wasn't mean to him. I couldn't videotape it. And he thanked me for not being a jerk. But my wife was pissed at me because, it was like I almost ruined the vacation. So now my daughter's telling me I have to get a new laptop, and it'll do better videos anyway. So, okay. Yes, still masks on the plane. But I went to Stop and Shop the other day, and I went to 7-Eleven. No fucking masks. I fucking love seeing people's faces again. Okay. And I'm only if you're vaccinated. So I'm vaccinated, so I'm good. I got vaccinated months ago. Now, here's Marguerite. If a $25,000 ETF is invested in an inverse ETF, okay, I'm going to change that word. If you have 25 grand in an inverse ETF, okay, Maggie, that's easy. I can do that. So now, I should have known that. If the value of the market drops 10%, it's so funny seeing you update as I do this. So if the value of the market drops 10% on day 1 and rises 10% on day 2. So remember something. So this is an inverse, okay? So if we have an ETF and everyone does this, I may do a video on this because it's easy and it's good to see. So if I have a $25,000 inverse ETF and the market drops 10%, that means I'm going to go up 10%. So I'm going to do 20. Let me get the numbers first. It's going to go down 10 and up 10. So I'm going to go opposite. Okay. So now let me get my handy dandy calculator. Boom. So if the market dropped 10, that means we're going up 10. So I'm going to do 25,000 times, you can either do times 10% or I do times 1.1. That's going to give me, so if I do this, 25,000 times 1.1, that gives me 27.5. Okay. I got Johnson & Johnson. So I was fucking sick for a day, but I only want one shot. I'm not going back for a second one. My whole family got Pfizer. I got the Johnson & Johnson one like the day before they take the pause. But as I said, I'm not a 18 to 49-year-old woman. I wasn't worried. So you got that. So our new basis is 27.5 because we did 25 grand. The market went down 10, but we're inverse, so we went up 10. So now we're at 27.5. Now the market went up 10, so it means we're going to go down 10. So we're going to do times 0.9 because we go from that new number. So our new basis is 24,750. So Maggie, I hope that helps. So if you have, so always remember, it resets the next day. So if you have 25 grand and it goes down, okay? Okay. So if you have a ETF, see, I started reading Matt's thing. So this is for the 7 and the SIE maybe, and I don't think it might be on the 6, but I'm not sure. Could be on the 66, but I doubt it. This is more for the 7. Okay. Yeah, so do it. Just go get the Pfizer one. Just go get it. Get it out of the way. I mean, I feel the nanobots running around. I mean, but it's all right. Maybe I can hack them to give me maybe lose weight. Okay. So now, okay. Okay. So the 1.1, you don't have to do it that way. So remember, guys, this is what Maggie's saying. She's unclear on the 1.1. So I did 25,000 times 1.1, right? We did that, right? So you can do that. Okay. But if you don't want to do that, you can just do this. I do 1.1, so I don't have to do the math again. I can do 25,000 times 0.1, which is 10%, right? And then I would add that to the 25,000. So I would do 25,000 plus the 2,500. That equals my 27.5, which I got by doing 1.1 also. Oh, Richard, I love it. Thank you for the margin stuff. So that's my 27.5. And then if it goes down, I just figure out what the percentage is. So if it goes down 20%, I multiply times 0.8. If it goes down 10%, I multiply times 0.9. If it goes down 30%, I multiply times 0.7, just the opposite of it. You could do, I guess you could do times 27.5 times what we're going to do, times 0.1, right? 2750, and then subtract from 27,500, and you get the same number. You can totally do that. That's totally fine. I'm lazy. I like to do, you always remember, whenever you want to know how to do something efficiently, find the laziest person you know, and they will always find the easiest way to do something. And that's what I do. Okay. Okay. I hope that helps a little, Maggie. I think that should work. Okay. Now, okay. Can I go over? So, okay. So everyone, Jen's not on here and everything, but so here's the deal. So thank you, Richard, for saying the margin stuff is good. And thank you, Matt. The margin stuff is very easy on the exam compared to Kaplan, compared to STC, compared to Past Perfect, compared to all of them. Even Achievable, I think, asks hard margin questions. But I love Achievable because you're talking like $100 or so and you get a whole program. It's pretty awesome. Lots of questions. They actually have more questions than Kaplan, which is freaking insane because Kaplan has so many questions. Now, the margin will not be curveball, but let's talk about maintenance calls for a second. So we know that margin Reg T is 50%. We always want to be above 50% or higher because then we have SMA and we're good and we can borrow money. And you want to be over $2,000. Okay, so now, okay. Now, see, Jen's going to get mad because I say, okay, leave off this. There we go. So I don't read it. Maintenance is if your equity falls below 25% on the long side or 30% on the short. So if you have $100,000 in market value and and you have a debit balance of $80,000, that means you only have $20,000 in equity, which means you have to put up $5,000. So under 50%, nobody cares. Under 25%, you have to come up with some money. It's a maintenance call. But if it's less than 1,000, they waive it. Okay. Like I have a small account that keeps going over and under $2,000 and they don't ask for more money. They do not ask me for more money because it's less than 1,000. It's my side account. I'm trying some stuff out. Now, on the short side, if your equity falls below 30%, they're going to ask for money again. If it's less than 1,000, they usually waive it. So your equity can never fall below 25% or 25 on the long, or 30% on the short. How do you get equity? You do market minus debit on the long side, and then you do credit minus market on the short side. And then you divide the equity by the market value. If that's less than 25 on the long side or less than 30 on the short side, then you get a maintenance call. But you can never go below $2,000. Remember that. So if you buy $10,000 worth of stock, you put down 5, you're good. If you buy $3,000 worth of stock or even short 3,000 of stock, Reg T would be 1,500, but that's less than $2,000. So you have to put down $2,000. The only caveat to this is on the buy side, the buy side. If you buy less than $2,000, just put down the amount. You don't have to put down more. But if you short less than $2,000, boom, you got to put down $2,000. Hope that helps a little. Maggie, I hope I helped you with this too. Okay, I hope I did. I don't know if I did. She'll tell me. Okay, so now, insider trading versus trading before a report. Okay. Oh, I got it. So trading ahead. So Sean, you're saying trading ahead of a research report. Okay. So technically, it doesn't meet the definition of inside information. I think it does. But trading ahead of a research report is somebody's about to publish it and you're buying or selling. It's technically insider trading. So it's gonna, oh, good. Awesome. So it's under the same thing, right? So trading ahead of a research report is a violation, and it should be considered insider trading. But if you have a choice of between the two, take trading ahead of a research report. If they say, is it insider trading, and there's no other choice, I would go with that. Front running is kind of running in front of your customer. Trading ahead could either be trading ahead of your customer or trading ahead of a research report. Hope that helps. And insider trading is what they call it treble damages, which just is their fancy word for saying triple. So if you're convicted of insider trading and it's a tipper, the tippee, like if I say something stupid on here and then you 14 people go and trade on it, right? Then I would get in trouble and then you would get in trouble and anyone who helped, right? So if you do it and you avoid a loss, like Martha Stewart did, they can charge you 3 times what the loss was, okay? And if you make money, they can charge you 3 times plus up to $5 million an event and 20 years in jail, okay? Yes, Armana, Reg T is set by the Federal Reserve Board. Under the Act of 34, they gave anything to do with Reg T, which is anything to do with between money and the broker deal, is set by the Federal Reserve Board, okay? Treble means triple. Yep. That's on the 66, the 7, and the SIE, and the 6. Basically, any exam, the treble damages for insider trading will be on there. It's kind of like the drunk driving, the DUI laws. Every driver's license test has the DUI stuff, no matter what you do, because that's a big deal. It's just like insider trading. Now, Reg T is about any time money and a broker-dealer and a customer get involved. So Reg T, everyone thinks margin, that's the 50%, but it also has to do with what's Reg T settlement, okay? Reg T settlement is it's when you, the customer, have to pay for a trade. So if you buy stock on Monday, it settles on Wednesday. You actually have until Friday to pay for it. You have 4 days, or as settlement plus 2. So you're going to pay for the trade. You have to pay for it up front for the most part. Most broker deals require that. But Federal Reserve Reg T says you have 4 days to pay for your trade. And if you don't pay for it, you can ask for an extension. But if you don't, then they freeze your account, which means you can only do for 90 days. They freeze your account. That's called free riding, trying to trade without paying for it. And God, I just word vomit. Then you can trade, but you have to pay for everything up front for 90 days. It happened to me. I was like 16 trading options in my mom's account. I forgot to pay for something. He was, you're frozen. I was like, oh my God, my mom's going to kill me. But he goes, oh, relax. It just means if you do a trade for the next 90 days, you have to pay up front. That's all. Okay. Is the 66 similar to the 63? Well, the 66 is 63 on speed, right? So the 63 is all about rules and regs and ethical stuff. The 66 also has portfolio management, investment management, stuff, trusts, and stuff like that. They have more. It's twice as much, but the 63 portion of it is the hardest. So the 63 and the 65, 63 is for agents, 65 is for IARs. Together, they equal the 66, which is a dual agent. Okay, Sean, well, I have to remember Standard & Poor's versus Moody's. Yes, you might, depending. On the 7, yeah, SIE, maybe not. But let's talk about it, or even the 6 you might. So credit rating. So it's not that hard. So what's the highest credit rating? Yeah, AAA. AAA is number 1. That's S&P, AAA, 3 big A's, right? So Moody's, think of Moody's, okay? Moody's is Moody's, so he's different, right? So I go, okay, Moody's is different. So he's going to be big A, 2 little a. So AAA and AAA, same thing. It's just that Moody's is A, little a, little a. Then you go down to AA, which is 2 big A's for S&P and A, little a. So always think that on Moody's, the little a is a replicant of the first one. So let's go right down to S&P. S&P is triple B, BBB, and on Moody's it's BAA because the little a means it's a copy of the first one. Now those both triple B and BAA are the lowest investment grade. Anything below triple B or BAA is considered junk or speculative or high yield. So on S&P it's BB, and on Moody's it's BA. Hope that helps a little. I think I did some of this somewhere on the debt things. Amana, why they asking to get the 66 versus 65? Because that's just in their program. That's all they do. So they don't. Linda, how are you? Welcome on. Okay, hope you're studying for the 63. So now, if you have the 63, that's fine. Get the 66. In reality, what you could do is look. The 66 is fine because it's a double. Remember, if you have the 63 already, the 60. If it was recently within the next 3 or 4 years. Some of that stuff will come back to you because the 66 is half 63 and half 65 kind of thing in a way, and some overlap from the 7, which is a good thing. So It's not the worst thing in the world. And God, this is what I tell everyone. Take the 66, right? It covers everything, right? It's such a program. If you fail, just sponsor yourself to take the 65 like 2 days later, and they'll accept it. They will. So they won't tell you they will, but if you paid for it yourself and you took the 65 on your own, they will accept it because the 6365 is exactly the same as 66. They may get annoyed and go, hey, you're not fair, but they're not going to make you take a test twice because you're done. Okay. Okay. The S63 depends. If you're taking it tomorrow, you'll be fine. Okay. It's just different. It's just laws. It's no new. So the 60. So Tyler's asking, he passed the SE and the 6 on the first shot. Is the 63 easier than the 2? I'm not saying it's easier. It's just different. And if you blow it off, you're going to fail. But if you take your time, and make sure you read all 4 choices before choosing an answer, you should be fine. Shouldn't be a problem. You should be fine. Just make sure you know all the rules and stuff like that. You got to know those rules down pat. Okay. Then you should be fine. And how are you scoring on your exams? Yeah, nervous is good. Remember, nervous is a good thing, right? Because the whole point about nervous is it keeps you on your game. But you need to get sleep. There's nothing more important. I'm just looking to see if anyone else. I'm not ignoring you guys. I'm trying to see if anyone else did. If anyone else asked questions, Maggie was doing that. So, Tyler, you're fine. You're scoring in the high 70s, low 80s on this stuff, and you're not memorizing. You'll be fine. Again, I know it's 80 banker. It's not the greatest thing in the world, but don't sweat it. Okay. Okay. Oh, that's funny. So you took it 6.5 years ago. Got it. Okay. Yes, you do. So yeah, I mean, it depends. Sean, are you taking the 7 or the SIE? I can't remember what you're taking, but yeah, I mean, it's not that hard, right? So I mean, it is hard when you don't deal with it. But so if I do an underwriting, okay, if I'm a company, I'm going to take my tutoring company public, right? And I'm going to have you guys do it. Oh, so I wouldn't worry about it too much. Just know the basics of what we're talking about. So underwriting is when the broker-dealer takes the company public. So best efforts means you're just going to do the best you can. You're just going to do the best you can to sell it. And whatever you don't sell, you give back. Tyler, I love it. I love hearing that. Just throw grapes at me and make me feel good like I'm a Roman emperor. That's good. I love when people say good things about it. No, okay. Okay. Open visions? No, there will not be delta hedging options. Unless you're taking the 9, that's the only time they will. Okay. So now, do you know what delta is? Open? Delta is how fast the option moves in price compared to the underlying stock. Okay. 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 Good. Tell everyone that. The more people on this, the better. Okay. Okay. And I'm trying to stay ahead of another. I'm so close to passing. It's going to take me a while to pass Notman, but I'm working on it. I'm close to Brian Lee, who I love. His shit is so good, but I'm working on trying to pass him. Okay. Yes, perfect. I love it. Option C. If you know that, then you're not going to have any problems on any exam on any of these things. Okay. So yeah, it's basically, so in case anyone wants to know, delta is how fast an option price moves compared to the stock moving. So if the stock moves $1, you have a delta of 40. It means your option is going to move 40 cents. Okay. Now, okay. So underwriting. Sorry, Sean, I got distracted because I'm crazy. So underwriting, best efforts means I'm just going to do the best I can. I have no liability, and whatever I sell, and whatever I don't, I return back to. Now I can do mini maxi where I go, look, I want to sell $1 million, but no Vega. Let's not do the Vega on this shit. Okay, so now, if I have a best efforts, I do a mini max. I say, look, I want $1 million. I want 1 million shares sold, but I want the 1 million. But if you can't get that, if you get at least 600 sold, I'm good to go. That's called the mini max. You at least get to a minimum, and then you want to sell the 1 million. All or none means you either sell the entire 1 million or whatever number I give you, or you cancel the deal. So those are called contingent offerings. So best efforts is, hey, I'm going to sell what I can and return the rest. No liability. And mini max is, look, I want 1 million, but once you get to 600 or 700 grand, we're good to go. If you don't get the 6, cancel the deal. All or none is what it says it is. You get all of it or don't even bother. Now, firm commitment is where you, the underwriter, guarantee sales. It's like a principal transaction. So what you're doing is you're saying, hey, I think I could sell 1 million shares, and you're going to guarantee that. So you think you can sell 1 million of my shares, and if you sell only 400 grand, you buy the other 600 grand. So firm commitment is you're guaranteeing sale. And how do you guarantee? By buying the shares that are unsold. Boom. Hope that helps. I love it. Almost an hour on a Thursday night. This was actually good, even though not a lot of people on there. A lot of activity. I love it. Okay. Okay, guys. I think we're good. Matthew, go watch that spread video. Guys, keep watching my stuff. Go watch my TikTok stuff. I think they're fun. I think they're quick, and they don't take up a lot of time. And you get to see me, my bald ass head. See, look at this. I got 0 color. That's like the goal, okay? You will not have to calculate yield to maturity. You will have to know the relationship. So remember, so if you have a discount bond, coupons in the bottom, so in a discount bond, coupons are lowest, then current yield, then yield to maturity, then yield to call, okay? I saw that, Julie. I did see it come through. I'll answer you. I'll send you my email. We can talk tomorrow morning. So now, on a discount bond, it's coupon in the bottom, then current, then yield to maturity, yield to call. No problem, Moshe. I love it. So now, just all I ask you to tell people, that's all I want, is I want 500 people a month joining in. I want 10,000. So then I can sell hats and shit like that. My whatever it is. Okay. So now I'm just kidding around. It doesn't, if I get there, I get there. So now, again, so you have to know the relationship. You have to know that if it's a coupon bond and you can get current yield, you have to know the yield to maturity is above the, yeah, I have a TikTok. Look for it on my YouTube. I think it's Finster967. It's really just short little videos. So now, and I do them on the short. So I I do them on my shorts on YouTube. I turn them into short stuff. So everyone's leaving, so it's good. So now, awesome. I love it. Thank you very much. Okay. So I love, referrals are great. I love people coming on here. So now, so if you get current yield, you have to know that yield to maturity is higher than that on a coupon. That's what you'll have to know. So if you can get current yield, which is what? Which is always annual income divided by the market price. Again, annual income divided by the market price. You get the current yield. If it's a discount, yield to maturity is higher than that, and yield to call is even higher than that. And if it's a premium, it's going to be lower, okay? Okay, it's going to be lower, okay? I love it. Okay, guys, I love this stuff. I love doing this. It's a lot of fun. I guess I can keep doing the Thursdays because this wasn't so bad. As long as we're active, I'll keep doing it. If it starts getting where I'm just like staring at the screen, I'm going to stop the Thursday nights. I'll always do the Tuesdays because I do like that, and it makes me feel like I'm not alone on a Tuesday night. I think we're good to go. I hope I helped everyone. If you like what I'm doing, hit like, subscribe. If you want to buy anything on Amazon, even if it's not books, go on, hit my link. Give me a little. I get like 3 cents for every one. Okay. Yeah, Sean, go on my website. I just said go on my website, with series7exam.org, and just shoot me a message and we can talk. Sometimes people talk to me and I tell them not to meet with me, okay? Because they may not need it. They're not because they suck, because I think they're strong and they don't need it. I've definitely turned some people away and said, listen, you're good to go. Let's not meet. Not a lot. I mean, because most people aren't, and it's hard to say that in a phone call. But like Jen, I met once. I met her yesterday. And then I just met her yesterday before the test, and then she nailed it because she was ready. We did the option. She said it was great. It was so easy. Now, Armana, why do I need 20 hours? It's just a rule. They want people to study for 20 hours for the health and life. I think they do it so people can't just, because remember, on the health and life exams, you can just take them back to back. You can take them every day. So I think over time, what happens is they think if you take it 5 times in a row, you're going to memorize the answers. So they want to at least make you go through the studying so that you don't take it a bunch of times. Okay, guys, I love it. Thank you for joining in. I'm going to go watch the end of Green Arrow. I'm trying to get through that series. Perfect. Yeah, you better message me, Tyler. I want to know if you do. Not if, you will pass it, Tyler. You will. Everyone, you got this. Wash your hands. May the force be with you. And you all have a good night.